From Washington, this is VOA News. I'm Bob Doughty reporting. Kerry pledges new refugee aid for Kenya. U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry has announced millions of dollars in new aid for Africa at a Monday news conference in Nairobi, Kenya. Kerry said $45 million in additional funding will be provided to help the UNHCR assist 600,000 refugees living in Kenya. He praised Nairobi for taking in the refugees. Earlier, Monday, Kerry honored the victims of the 1998 bombing of the U.S. Embassy in Nairobi and a series of more recent attacks as he pledged Monday that the U.S. will continue supporting the fight against terrorism. Police in Garland, Texas, a Dallas suburb, shot and killed two men who, they said, began shooting at a security officer outside a building where a free speech event was taking place Sunday. The event included a contest for cartoons of Islam's prophet Muhammad, a visual representation of whom is considered blasphemous by many devout Muslims. VOA's Greg Flakus has more on the story from our Houston bureau.
Officials said in the exchange of gunfire, police say both alleged attackers died and the security officer suffered non-life-threatening wounds. The New York-based American Freedom Defense Initiative sponsored the event, which included an awards ceremony for cartoon depictions of the Prophet Muhammad. In Europe, a number of cartoonists who drew pictures of the Prophet for a Danish publication in 2005 went into hiding after receiving threats. In January, gunmen killed 12 people at the Paris offices of Charlie Hebdo, a satirical French magazine that had printed such cartoons. Greg Flakus, VOA News, Houston.
You are listening to the news coming to you from Washington. The city of Baltimore slowly returned to normal Monday after a citywide curfew ended Sunday after 5 nights. National Guard troops started to draw down and stores began to reopen. Baltimore was in turmoil last week after the funeral for Freddie Gray, an African-American man who died last month while in police custody. Baltimore Mayor Stephanie Rawlings Blake said Sunday she did not want to have the curfew in place longer than necessary. Maryland Governor Larry Hogan said the state of emergency in Baltimore will be lifted once all the 4,000 soldiers and police brought in from other states have left the city. 4 more people have been rescued from underneath rubble more than a week after the devastating earthquake in Nepal killed more than 7,200 people, as more international forces, including U.S. Marines, arrive in the country to help with aid efforts. The U.S. will help manage the growing piles of relief supplies clogging Nepal's only international airport in Kathmandu, which is struggling to distribute the aid arriving from around the world since the 7.8 magnitude quake. 10 migrants drowned in the Mediterranean near the coast of Libya over the last few days, but at least 4,800 were rescued as people smugglers took advantage of calm seas to attempt the often perilous crossing to Europe's southern shores. All of those rescued were ferried to Italian ports. Top political leaders from Taiwan and China met for the first time in 6 years and held talks that analysts say are aimed at boosting support for the island's ruling party ahead of key elections early next year. VOA's Bill Ide has more from Beijing.
Zhu arrived in China for the 3-day visit on Saturday. The trip has included meetings with ranking Communist Party leaders, a forum between the Nationalist Party and Communist Party, as well as casual discussions with scholars and students at universities in Beijing and Shanghai. On Monday, when Chu met Communist Party chief Xi Jinping, he stressed his party's support for eventual unification with China, a key position that has made it possible for the former bitter rivals to meet. Zhu says the younger generation in Taiwan hopes to see the promotion of regional peace, no matter what the activities or organizations might be. Bill Ide, VOA News, Beijing.
3 Republican outsiders are joining the crowded contest for the party's U.S. presidential nomination in 2016. Former technology executive Carly Fiorina said Monday she is running for president, while retired neurosurgeon Ben Carson says he is also entering the race. Another candidate, former Arkansas Governor Mike Huckabee, plans to announce his candidacy Tuesday. I'm Bob Doughty in Washington.
That's the latest world news from VOA.